Have you ever felt like you're not really here? Like you're watching your own life through glass? Your hands feel foreign. Your voice sounds wrong. The room is real, but you feel fake inside it. There's no word for this in everyday language, but millions of people feel it right now, and doctors are only just starting to understand why. Stay with me. This one hits close to home. This isn't about being sad. It's stranger than sadness, quieter than fear. It doesn't even have one clean name yet. Some people call it the glitch. Some call it checking out. Some just say, I don't know how to explain it. But once you hear it described, you'll recognize it instantly. Doctors and therapists hear it described daily now, not as a diagnosis, just a shared confession. Something people whisper, almost embarrassed to say out loud. I feel like I'm not really here. That sentence alone has flooded therapy sessions worldwide. It usually starts small. Everything looks the same as always, but something feels off. Like the world is a movie set, like you're an actor who forgot his lines. Some people say colors look duller. Some say sounds feel distant, like underwater. Some say their own reflection looks like a stranger. Wait, but here's the strange part. This isn't rare, it's incredibly common. Surveys suggest half of all people feel this at least once. Most never tell anyone, because how do you explain something with no name? Psychologists do have a term for it. It's called derealization or depersonalization, but even that name feels clinical, cold, incomplete. It doesn't capture what it actually feels like, which is why so many people online just call it the feeling. No caps, no explanation, just the feeling. Search it, and you'll find thousands of posts, people describing the exact same experience, word for word, down to the tiniest detail. Strangers from different countries, different lives, all describing something they thought was only theirs. Wait, but here's the strange part. Many of them thought they were going insane. Some Googled their symptoms at 3 a.m., terrified. Some thought they had a brain tumor. Some thought they were losing their grip on reality itself. But here's what they didn't know. This feeling has a purpose. It's not your brain breaking. It's your brain protecting you. Let's talk about why. Your brain is built to detect danger first, long before it processes anything else. When stress becomes too much to handle, it adapts. It creates distance. On purpose, like an emotional shock absorber. If everything feels slightly unreal, it hurts a little less. This is called dissociation, and it's one of the oldest survival tools we have. Animals use it too. Some animals freeze completely when trapped by a predator. Not from panic, from protection. Their nervous system pulls back just enough to survive the moment. Humans do something similar, just quieter, internally. Think about a car accident survivor. Many describe the crash in slow motion, like time itself slowed down to protect them. That's the same mechanism, just turned up loud. Your brain has a dial, not a switch. Sometimes it turns just slightly, barely noticeable. Other times, it turns all the way. It's the same reason people forget parts of a car crash, not because the moment didn't happen, but because the brain filed it away for safety, not memory. Protection first, clarity later, if ever. Wait. But here's the strange part. You don't need trauma to trigger this. Chronic stress can do it. Lack of sleep can do it. Even staring at a screen too long can do it. Modern life is full of these small triggers. Constant notifications, constant comparison, constant noise. Our brains evolved for slow, simple environments. Not 50 tabs open. Not endless scrolling at midnight. Not 100 strangers' lives flashing past every minute. So the brain does what it's always done. It pulls back. It creates a buffer, except now the buffer never fully turns off because the stress never fully turns off either. Here's where it gets even stranger. Scientists believe this feeling used to matter. Long ago, danger came in short bursts. A predator, a threat, then safety again. The brain would dissociate briefly, then return to normal. But today, low-grade stress doesn't stop. It just hums quietly, all day, every day. So the protective response never fully switches off. The shock absorber stays activated, permanently soft, which is why so many people feel foggy, distant, disconnected, even when nothing is wrong. Think of a phone left running too many apps. Nothing is technically broken. It just slows down, quietly, trying to keep up. Your mind does something eerily similar. It doesn't shut off. It just dims itself, enough to keep functioning, not enough to feel present. Wait, but here's the strange part. Trying to force the feeling away often makes it worse. The harder you fight it, the louder it gets. Like quicksand. Struggling only pulls you deeper. Some people panic so hard they trigger it more often. A fear of the feeling becomes its own trigger. This creates a loop. Fear, feeling, fear again. Around and around, feeding itself quietly in the dark. There's a deeper reason this scares us so much. Humans are wired to feel like a self, a continuous you, moving through time. It's how we plan, remember, love, belong. When that sense of self flickers, even slightly, it feels catastrophic. Even though nothing is actually wrong with your brain, it's simply protecting itself the only way it knows how. Here's the twist most people never hear. This experience isn't new. It isn't a Gen Z thing. It isn't caused by TikTok, even though algorithms found it. Writers described this feeling over 100 years ago, long before smartphones, long before social media existed. Philosophers wrote about feeling unreal in the 1800s. Soldiers described it after battle, generations before therapy existed. Victorian doctors called it nervous unreality. They had no scans, no labels, no internet to compare notes, just patients, describing the same fog, decades apart. Different centuries, same exact words, almost identical. That should tell you something important. This was never a trend. It was always human. Wait, but here's the strange part. We didn't get new feelings. We got new language for them. Old feelings, new platforms, same ancient nervous system. The internet didn't create this experience. It just gave millions of isolated people the same word. For the first time, people realized they weren't alone. That's part of why it spread so fast online. Not because it's contagious, because it's finally nameable. Naming something painful takes away some of its power. That's not a coincidence. That's basic psychology. Humans have always needed language for fear to feel manageable. Ancient people named storms, monsters, and demons for the same reason. Not because those things were always real, but because naming things makes them feel less infinite. A nameless fear feels endless. A named fear feels survivable, even if it's still hard. That's why finding the right word can feel like relief. Even before anything actually changes, this feeling is simply the newest thing we've learned to name. And here's the part that should bring you comfort. Feeling disconnected doesn't mean you're broken. It usually means your brain is overloaded, not damaged. It means your nervous system is trying to protect you, even if it doesn't feel like protection in the moment. For most people, it fades with rest, with safety, with time. For some, it lingers longer and deserves real support. Either way, you're not the only one who's felt this. Not even close. Not the internet's fault. Just an old feeling, wearing a new name. So maybe the real question isn't, what's wrong with me? Maybe it's, what has my mind been carrying quietly? Because a brain doesn't create distance from nothing. It creates distance from something it couldn't fully process yet. Something loud, something constant,